Okay, let's give this a shot. Take one. Howdy, everybody. So we've been doing this for 12, almost 13 years now. And the reasons that we started doing this in the beginning, back then we couldn't even talk about. Pretty controversial issues, homeschooling, vaccinations, just the medical industry in large, the food system, on and on. Anyway, I probably shouldn't have said that. Okay. Howdy, everybody. The reasons we started, back then we could barely even talk about. Things have changed now, and all this time later, now we can speak about these things. Over that time, one of the things that has always been really amusing to us is to hear critics and fans alike tell us what they believe we're doing. You know, we've heard everything from homesteading, farming. You know, we've been asked if we were trying to convert to Amish. You know, there's just all kinds of explanations. People always tell us, well, you must be off-gridders. Oh, this one's my favorite. Are you a liberal? Are you a liberal? You're probably in a cult. Or this one, you believe everything that you see on the internet. You're definitely a fanatic. We have all of those elements, you know. We're like homesteaders, we're like farmers, we do homeschool. All of those elements are there in our life. But there's one thing that everybody always kind of misses. I think after all of this time, now that we can talk about this kind of thing, it's time for us to tell you what our main goal is in our lifestyle. The one thing, though, that we try to accomplish with this lifestyle is creating a symbiotic loop that we could both live in and extract our food from. Why would we do this? Because this is how you train your microbiome. This is how you heal your immune system. This is how you plug yourself in to the giant life mass and acquire all of the information that you need to live in this environment. It's all through your food and your lifestyle. You're going to hear that a lot over the next coming years. It's kind of a trend now, but honest to goodness, it's what the actual science says, and it's been saying it for a long time. There's been a battle between people that are actually following the science and people who want to keep it the old way with all the medications and stuff. And it's quite interesting to see pulled out. But now you know our main purpose. At all costs, what we need is food that is manufactured in an environment that has a very active rhizosphere, okay? Because within the rhizosphere, there's exchanges of information that take place that we have no idea, you know, information that we can't even read. You know, it's genetic information, it's everything. It controls our evolution, it trains our immune system. There's so much to it, and it's so complex. Here's a little video I'm going to put together about the rhizosphere and the importance of it, and actually what's happening. And it's basically the war on information, and the war on our access to information. So I hope you enjoy it.
In every handful of living soil, there's a conversation happening. A constant, silent exchange of genetic information between roots, fungi, bacteria, and the environment. This rhizosphere is more than a nutrient supply line. It's a living library, broadcasting biochemical signals, secondary metabolites, enzymes, and even fragments of nucleic acids. These messages shape the plant's chemistry, which in turn shapes the animals and humans that eat it. When we consume food from this kind of vibrant system, we aren't just taking in calories. We're ingesting a set of evolutionary instructions, molecular cues that train our immune system, fine-tune our metabolism, and even influence our genetic expression over time. It is a form of information transfer that connects soil health directly to human health. But when the soil is stripped of life through monoculture, heavy tillage, and synthetic inputs, that network collapses. The plant becomes chemically simplified, offering fewer instructions to the human microbiome. Over time, this leads to a narrower gut ecology, a dysregulated immune system, and the cascade of chronic illnesses that now define the modern industrial diet. Here's where the conversation becomes uncomfortable. These losses are not always accidental. In fact, the structure of our agricultural, medical, regulatory, and economic system often work to suppress the living soil cycle. Regulations, meant to protect public health, can make it nearly impossible for small-scale, regenerative producers to sell nutrient-rich food without massive overhead. Government subsidies favor monoculture over diversity. Food safety laws designed for industrial processors are applied indiscriminately to microproducers, strangling local food economies before they can compete. This is not merely a story about soil, it is a story about control. By capturing the agencies meant to protect us, large-scale economic powers have positioned themselves as the gatekeepers of life's essentials. In this arrangement, health is not a natural outcome of living in balance with the land. It is a product to be purchased, often at great cost, after sickness has already taken root. If this were purely the result of evolutionary competition, we could chalk it up to survival of the fittest. Those who figure it out, make it. But the reality is more troubling. Every pathway to true resilience is blocked by regulation, chemically disrupted, or priced beyond reach. This is where soil biology, human immunity, and the quiet logic of eugenics converge. By weakening the informational loop between soil, plant, human, and environment, the system ensures a population more dependent on its gatekeepers and less capable of standing outside their reach. The restoration of the living soil cycle is therefore not only an agricultural act, but a form of resistance. It is a reconnection to the original network of life's instructions, one that predates every empire, every regulation, every attempt to domesticate the human spirit.
We are supposed to be plugged into this system through our food and through our environment, through what we have contact with. We're supposed to be receiving this information to program our immune system. It's no coincidence that most of the chronic disease we have today in this country, in our what we perceive as a very highly developed country, it's no mistake that all of that chronic disease is autoimmune issues. But it seems like once you dive down that rabbit hole, all you discover is every pathway that we're supposed to be getting that information from seems to be blocked. And it's blocked by toxic chemicals, by sterile food, by sedentary lifestyle, by regulation, by economic warfare, if you will. It seems like every channel that you have to try to get down to find health, there's some block, and it's been put there by somebody. So, the question begs to be asked, why are they afraid of people who would be plugged into this system? Is it purely about profit? Is it purely about profiting off of sickness and unhealth? Or is there something else?